including the military. There was that flyover. And then, of course, right after that, President Putin getting into the beast, President Trump's own limousine. So all of that very unexpected. But Vitaly, thank you so much. We're going to bring in now Michael Bociurkiw, senior fellow at the Atlantic Council, who is a global affairs analyst. Michael, great to see you again. And, you know, we had spoken in the weeks leading up to this summit, now wondering what you make of what the next steps are, not only for President Trump, but also for President Zelensky in Kyiv.
Yeah, good to be with you, Sumi. Well, it's pretty incredible. I think it's fair to say that Europe and much of Ukraine is waking up to a feeling of a hangover. But I think the good news, if there is any to take out of this for European capitals and Kyiv indeed, is that a solid deal was not reached that would not be in Ukraine's favor. Having said that, as soon as those images you just referred to from the tarmac in Alaska started being broadcast around the world, and especially in Ukraine, of a very elated Mr. Trump and a somewhat nervous but confident Mr. Putin, as you said, getting together in that limousine, there was a lot of negative reaction. Like, here we go. Mr. Putin has been taken from the grave of diplomatic isolation and put on the world stage by who is supposed to be the leader of the free world. And then what was interesting, too, is the reversal at the end, Mr. Trump looking very drained. I think what is concerning right now, as far as I just checked the Ukrainian language Telegram channels, is as far as we know, Mr. Zelensky has not received the call from Mr. Trump. And Mr. Trump in that Fox TV interview said, now it's up to Zelensky to get the deal done. So the question now is, has Mr. Trump washed his hands of this issue? Will it be up to European and Ukrainian leaders to do the rest of some sort of deal? But lots and lots of uncertainty, at least for now. I just checked the air raid siren alarms in Ukraine are silent, but I don't expect that to last very long.
That indeed would be very interesting, Michael, if there was no call to President Zelensky. President Trump had said that would be the call he would be making, and also to European leaders. When he says it's now up to President Zelensky to make a deal, it's not clear whether there was any sort of agreement made between Presidents Putin and Trump on what would lead to that deal, was there?
No, not at all. And, you know, I think we all got the signal, at least those of us who have spent a lot of time in Ukraine following the Kremlin, is all it took was that one line at the beginning of the press conference by Mr. Putin saying all root causes must be eliminated, also calling Ukraine a brotherly nation. That does signal that Mr. Putin hadn't budged an inch, that he's digging in his heels. And, you know, the other thing to clarify here is that, you know, in the press conference at the White House before coming to Alaska, Mr. Trump boasted once again falsely that the United States had given 360 or 380 billion to Ukraine. Well, that's another falsehood exaggeration. It was actually about half of that. Europe now is in the, I believe, $260 billion range. So that's a lot more than the United States. So there is a path here, Sumi, where Europe, with its funding, with its ability to purchase arms from the U.S., with Ukraine's ability to make its own drones, could go forward alone. But a big, however, not without the U.S. Patriot missile defense systems, as well as U.S. intelligence, as well as the now alienated Mr. Musk's Starlink system. Those are three crucial things right now that need to be provided until Europe gets its act together further to be able to assist Ukraine.
Yeah, that's why it's been clear from the beginning that the U.S. has to be a key part of this discussion, as we know. Looking to what President Putin might do next, do you think that he will take a different approach at all? I mean, going forward, if he continues to wage his war on Ukraine as he has until now, he could then irritate, anger President Trump again. I mean, do you see any possible change on President Putin's side?
Not really. I think Mr. Putin is flying home very elated and with a new sense of confidence. Certainly a lot of great imagery for a domestic audience. I think the only leverage Mr. Trump now has left over Mr. Putin is that wider ability to starve the Russian war machine of income. And how does he do that? By the threat he already issued. That is to slap India, China, Brazil with massive tariffs and sanctions, those big purchasers of Russian oil. And I think those secondary types of penalties, if you will get back to Mr. Putin and will make him think twice about what he's doing. But in the short term, no incentive whatsoever to stop. In fact, I'm very, very fearful at the moment that he's going to intensify everything he's been doing, the drone strikes, the missile strikes. They're now making very worrisome gains on the front lines. And yeah, it doesn't look good. Unfortunately, Europe is still, where I sit right now in Europe, it's still scrambling to get its act together. Sumi, it's almost like they're front-loading their approach, saying we're going to have a coalition of the willing, we're willing to put monitors on the ground. First thing we have to do is stop this war, and for a lasting and durable peace, not a temporary ceasefire.
Yep, and that is the point that has eluded President Trump, of course, is a ceasefire, a stoppage of fighting. All right, Michael Bociurkiw, great as always to get your analysis. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.